And hello, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Is this not where I left off? Oh, I wonder why. So there's a reason I didn't actually post an episode last week. I actually recorded a decent bit. A little past here, even. I think this is just where, like, autosave happened or something like that. And my other save got overridden and whatnot, so I can't just go back and do that. But I still have the footage. But my actual commentary just, like, failed. Okay, commentary. I'm looking at my computer. Come on. It got corrupted, like, mid while I was doing it, and I lost, like, 40 minutes to an hour worth of effort. And at that point, given I was fairly busy that weekend with other stuff as well, I just did not have the motivation. And I like I said, my save got undone, or overridden, just as part of that whole process, because I was, saving stuff. But, I still have the footage, so I can throw some stuff up, but basically up to this point, last time we had a big shake, and it was like, oh, the ship stopped because it thought there was a collision was going to happen, but it didn't really hit anyone, and it made a big deal about the, door locking as a result of that, which I thought, okay, that's interesting. It's probably going to be something along the lines of, that's how it was locked, so it's not a real locked room mystery. The question I really had between everything was timing. The question I had was essentially timing, which was really more a matter of how much were these people involved. So it got locked, people showed up, we unlocked it, the sailor and what's-her-face came in, it's like, oh my goodness, arrest them, they're in here. Put them in the jail, and it's like, why wasn't I already in the jail? And Hosanaga came, it's like, man, I don't have any clout to help you at this point. And then you just turn the camera off. Sherlock Holmes just, like, on the freaking motherfucking thingamabob over there. Honestly, that was the funniest thing. That was actually, like, legit hilarious. Of just, like, looking at the other part of the room and just hanging there on the coat rack. But yeah, he showed up, and he basically was like, oh my goodness, it was a snake, and the snake went in poison, Cosmo, and there was a whole discussion about whether it was poison or toxin, and the difference between the two, and whether if they check for poison, does that mean they check for toxin, and he went on this whole thing where basically he did his whole, like, dance and whatnot, and then Susato here basically was like, shit, this doesn't actually make any sense. So the thing she pointed out was that, and I'm sorry, my save got overridden just because I thought it was going by fine, and I'm gonna be looking back at my recording for my audio this time, because I think the problem was something with my computer and it's been restarted and it should be fine. But yeah. Basically, snakes don't drink milk, which was a rebuttal to the idea that it was trained with milk. And then Sholmes was just like, just do something else. Was there anything else that she's pointed out? Because I did get a little bit farther. So yeah, basically what Herlock Sholmes insinuated was that Pavlova here had trained her snake to basically be an assassin. And there's basically a big snake that's currently muffling the sailor. It sounds like a bit happened, but it really was only like 30-40 minutes, and a lot didn't happen. And a lot of what happened was pretty concentrated. So I will leave it there, and probably use the footage I did get when I played that to throw up some visuals of that as I go through it. Yay. For now, let's just start from here. Again, cough, so I'm gonna not, like, just read the dialogue out. Right, snakes have no ears, part of his concept was that she would be teaching the snake via the, training it, and taught it to, like, come back when she whistled, and that would be the whistling sound. And he's talking about the whole, like, snake dancer thing. And she makes a good point there. I don't know if that's technically how it works, but I'm going to assume they did their research. No hands, no feet, no ears, these creatures are inept, as to be practically useless. And yes, he's being a bit unfair to the snake there. I am sorry that this is going to be getting into this abruptly. I'm not really motivated to try to go back to an earlier save and make my way back up to it and then just go through it pretending I hadn't done it or anything. Have I ever... There's probably been a couple times where I lost maybe 10-20 minutes where I just act like I didn't do the first 10-20 minutes of something. And then just get into the episode proper as I work my way. But yeah, I don't think I could, especially something so story-driven. So the argument that the snake, by nature of how they move, probably couldn't get up to the ventilator properly. I was really surprised by the snake part. I did not think of that in the slightest. And hello, snake. I think it's interesting at the very least. I still think that I was very surprised that after the big deal it made out of the door locking and whatnot, that Herlock Sholmes didn't come in basically well, it's not really a locked room mystery. He did actually say that, too, that it wasn't a locked room mystery. But then he went on to say that there's a ventilator, so someone could have gone over and killed. AKA the snake. Everyone was super impressed with him. When I went through his actual, little thing, where it was interesting, because the last one was man, he's so clearly wrong in some of this. But this one was nothing really stands out as problematic. And then the key points of being wrong is just knowing a lot about snakes and where the contradictions there lie. Which is actually sort of fairly reasonable for him to not know. Then again. And for me to not know. Time for the dance of destiny again. I had a feeling this is coming. I'm happy. I did get into this a little bit, but before I stopped. And I'm happy that I have a save before it, because these are fun. This is probably the most fun element of the story, going through these. Sholmes should just have, get a career in lockpicking. Okay. I think some of the things that really put me off when he went through his deduction was when she was questioning stuff. It was at times I did not understand why that might be. Smarts with pain. Pain expression on her face. It's true. She does look regretful, right? Aching heart. That must be it. Right ear. Okay. So this is interesting. Her earring broke. I'm not sure what to make of it. It's interesting that they don't know what earrings are. I mean, earrings being that size isn't that unusual. But if you look at the other side, it's fucking huge. And I have a hard time... Oh my God. You know what? I didn't notice last time? I didn't notice this here. This direct photo of her with a cat. Okay. So I didn't get much farther than this before I noticed that my audio was not working, and it's still working now. Okay. I'm gonna be paranoid about that for a while. But she did have a proper scratch, which could come to the conclusion, because it's a scratch, it's 3 marks, which implies that it needs to be some semblance of claw. It can't be bitey from a snake or something, which would have 2 main things, or more if you're gonna say... I think snakes only have 2 main teeth. It's still... It'd either have 2 or more depending on what bit it, so it has to come from a claw, which means not the snake. Which means... Oh my goodness, did the snake eat the cat? Oh, that would be horrid. But it looks like there's a little kitty there. So I think you can probably come to the conclusion that it is, in fact... Oh my goodness, how are we so blind? I get why we didn't see it, because our perspective places us over there. And we don't see the goddamn photo thingy. You know, usually when I lose footage, it's not the... Usually when I've lost, like, footage and it's been corrupted, usually it's the gameplay footage. My audio stuff messing up is really, 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 really rare. So I can often go back and just, like, re-record the footage and try to line it up a little bit with the commentary. Especially when I'm, like, you know, doing dialogue and whatnot. So in this case, it's a bit more disheartening because the commentary is the unique thing. The footage is not nearly as important for me to actually put together something. I can't recreate my commentary. Yeah, I think I got a little bit after this because I don't remember what happens next in the slightest. A kitten, a cat, a kitten, could conceptually get up to the ventilator, right? Why is there a freaking snake, by the way? Okay. Follow her gaze. No, I think I already found it. Okay, if this was the next thing, I definitely only went. Oh wow, that is so unsubtle.
Yes!
That is so unsubtle. Wait, what? Wait, do I need to like observe it first? I think I've learned something. I think I've learned that I need to observe it, and for them to make the deduction before I can present it? Is that actually how this works? Even if it's really fucking obvious and I don't really need them to talk about it? Okay, in the direction she looked at is just over here. Is there anything else that could even conceptually be related? No. Gotta be honest, no. It's so unsubtle! With just a freaking photograph! Oh my goodness. I gotta be honest, this photograph just being here makes me feel like everyone involved is a massive idiot for not noticing this. Okay, so that's
Yes!
it. So what I present has to be the keyword, right? Okay, so that's the reason why. I had to look at it in more detail in order to look at something more specific on it. And whatever I select, I need to make sure that the keyword is switched with whatever it labels it as. Okay, understood. It is very much a keyword-driven evidence system. Okay, got it. Yes, but even the kitten could have technically, like, been wearing the tiara. Okay, that was another thing from when I recorded before that really confused me. He had this whole thing about a speckled band, and it's like, how is no one thinking of the tiara? Because when I hear speckled band, I think like a jewelry thing, or like a hairband, or some shit like that could be speckled. And then they went into this whole thing about like the snake's skin, and how it could have like shed itself, and the fact that she actually, the girl was actually holding a snake skin. She was actually holding a snake skin. So, did the snake eat the kitten? I mean, that actually seems like it might be legitimately possible. Given she was so defensive of the kitten, it seems... Okay, yeah, I think this is the snake skin. And I had a whole thing where I was like, what So is that not snake skin then? Okay, she questioned it. What else could it be? I mean, it doesn't... It's a relatively long, somewhat thin relative to like a kitten's body at least. Sort of sheath of some sort. He did come up with this whole idea like, oh, the snakes will change the pattern every time they shed their skin, like in a significant way. It is... Oh, like a tassel? Something that she could use for ballerina stuff that a kitten might be trained to play with? Honestly, I think a lot of things come into place as soon as you realize it's a different animal, and the kitten is... the kitten had to be in the room because she was all like very protective of the she is very protective of the trunk. Actually, You think the snake could have gotten into the trunk and she trapped it there in order to protect herself and whatnot? You think she would have moved to have it thrown overboard, unless it happened like really soon relative to us showing up. A cat toy? Okay. I don't have enough knowledge of pet toys to say that that's something that I'd expect to be a cat toy. I definitely don't recognize it as a cat toy, but it makes sense as something that could be a cat's toy.
Yes!
But that's definitely something the cat could have dragged around. Oh, that does look a lot more furry in the actual drawn art. It did not look nearly that furry. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and the whistling might have been like... or something like that that you might use to get like a pet to come back to you. It's a blue cat. Have we seen anything that's like distinctly blue? It is useful as a photo of the TR2. It's good that it pointed that out. What happened? Okay, so you can tell the truth. There's the back of my hand. Then ran up the bell cord. She had disappeared through the ventilator. Naughty, naughty cat. Sure. Okay. What's the second topic? Oh, he died. Okay. How is the snake involved if everything just happened with the cat? Okay, so one thing we can confirm. One thing we can confirm is the idea that she... because this is something that I was deliberating about last time that I was playing and I lost that recording commentary, was... what was the timing of her showing up? So we're sort of under the assumption that her showing up may have caused the ship to stall and lock the doors, right? On a more like significant one, in something that might not have broadcast over the course of the whole place, right? And that might have been the thing that locked the door. But if she was here before he died, then the door... he could have... okay, I suppose that's enough... no, never mind. Because if the door was locked, then she would have had trouble getting into the room to be here to have the whole Kitten stuff go down. Because if you were talking about in frames of just like timeline... she needs to have... it's interesting, because either she needs to have been in the room afterwards in order for her event to have caused stuff to get locked, or she needs to have been in beforehand for her to have been in the room for things to have happened before it got locked. In order for her to be in the room, period, because it would have got locked and whatnot, right? Because if it was locked, she wouldn't have been able to get in, and... as we saw with the other room, they had to straight up break down the door and the lock in order to get in, right? So, timing-wise, I think it just has to be a different event that may have caused the doors to lock after all this went down. Or maybe not after all the kitten stuff went down, but at least enough for her to get into the room and get, like, set up. Because she said she descended from the heavens like an angel or some shit like that. I'm gonna go ahead and believe her. That it's something along the lines of she got on board last night. Or something like that. Or relatively recently. Or at the very least, they're stopping regularly enough to have... Maybe the whole ship is, like, involved in some sort of protest concept. Maybe that's how it works. So they're regularly stopping to, like, take on people and stuff like that from, like, maybe smaller ships or stuff like that. And it's not necessarily just her. She could basically... It could be like they're shepherding refugees and whatnot that want to get away. And they're just doing it somewhat regularly along this, like, months-long voyage. Long enough that she could have gotten here previously to be here, and then again for someone else to have shown up, right? And caused it to stop midnight again. But if this is a regular thing that is regular enough in order for people to actually, when just like stopping it, you think they would have noticed that they were causing doors to lock on their own prior to this. That should be common knowledge, right? And that sort of premise. Oh, things just don't quite add up. Ugh. Every theory I have, there's like something that doesn't make it quite work. Oh, I said toxin. I meant venom. The difference between venom and poison. No signs of a wound anywhere in Cosmos. That's funny. So if the cat somehow infected him and caused him to die from something like that, then Cosmo wasn't poisoned, but again, poison is different than venom. So the question is it using it generically enough in order to say, hey, that counts too for the poison check?
Yes!
That does seem... So the snake is still here. The snake is still probably relevant. You think that could be it? That he fell unconscious due to food poisoning or something? Then a snake, who's just being a snake and shit like that, showed up and just like fucking broke his neck and maybe tried to eat him or some shit like that? We'll see, we'll see. If we take that as a fact. I'm not entirely convinced that he's even dead, so... Died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone. Maybe? My first idea was that the snake just wrapped itself around his neck and broke it. Because, I mean, maybe it's not smart. You can't really typically imagine a snake would be smart enough to go for the neck in that sort of case. But the idea of wrapping something and strangulating it, isn't that, like, a common concept for snakes? In terms of how they go about, like, killing and catching prey. So if we're going to say that he was struck by something, it has to be the shoe polish, right? a bad fall at the right time if everything was like stopping in the same way that it could close the door. If he was distracted and something was like a kitten was taking his time, that caused him to fall and... Is there anything in the scene that could explain what happened? Well, I guess one other thing would be the freaking mark on floor that could explain, or it could be evidence of a fall. I don't know what the fucking... A small glass object. I still don't know what that is. I don't think I've seen anything that seems to be... Oh, wait. Have I actually seen something? Oh no, it's the cat's little collar, isn't it? A little pink collar for the cat, isn't it?
Yes!
It will demonstrate that he fell at the very least. I think that's the point. Immovable object as he fell in the... I mean, it could be as simple as the, well, actually, based on the positioning of the shoe mark and whatnot, the skid mark and whatnot, it does seem as though he fell toward... It didn't seem like he fell towards anything he would have hit his neck on, specifically outside the ground. Oh, but at the same time, he has a fucking... There's a message. That actually does not add up. There's a message on the ground. If we want to claim that was him doing it, he couldn't have died immediately. Hiding place? What did he hit his neck on? There's more to this, obviously. Especially with the locked room element. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes, basically towards the front of it. Look around. Well, given how this has been so far, it's just you just need to... Could it be the tiara? I mean, what other choice is there in this area? Oh, could be that too. What's inside? Yeah, but what's inside? I see something slightly from just like the... Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. What does that mean, though? Does that mean she was able to get into the other room and take the other half of it? Or did the cat come back with... Huh.
Yes!
How did you get it back over? So, okay, so it's based on the actual drawn image that I'm going to assume is more accurate. It currently looks like just a part. Yeah, a part of the little loop that would have kept it on the collar stayed on. Would a cat have been able to, on the ground, have that break and actually been able to bring that all the way over? They may assert that, but that seems really unlikely. So there definitely seems to be a possibility that she, or someone by her, in order to work for her, essentially, entered the room and took it. Probably also writing the message. And then again, if someone went in and took it, they would have taken both pieces, right? Not just one. It's sort of really unfortunate that they made it so that it broke in a way that it doesn't really make sense that it would have stayed with the kitten as it tried to come back. Because that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. But it does seem like something they may purposely ignore. Yeah, we can definitely prove that you know what it is. Da 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 da.
Yes!
And she wanted to hide it in order to stop the kitten from being found and potentially thrown overboard or some shit. It does make it out to be an accident, but there does seem to be more of it. Death by tripping over a cat is a lot less... He didn't die by the venom of a snake. He died by tripping over a cat. No. Hasuki. Head in time to Fiend Darka. Where's some food? So, okay. So, based on how you are presenting what you were saying, I'm going to assume that you did not show up last night. You've been here for at least a longer than that, even if it could be just like a day. All it really needs to be is a day. How is the snake relevant? Why is there a snake? That's another unanswered question. When did germ science become a thing? Because there was a very, very long part of human... Like, germ theory and whatnot is relatively new. I think it probably would be before this, right? It probably would be notably before this, but it might not be that far off. I wonder how much distance is actually, like, in that ventilator. It feels like it would be longer than what you do with the toy. you heard that? Stepping on the glass bell. That's an interesting thought. Have you, like, how did you get the bell? Did it come back? Yeah, he is a little bit more self-aware than I thought he would be. Yeah, what is the... Oh, is it not... Yeah, where the fuck did the snake come from? Oh my goodness. You seem to be starting to get along with it, even if it's not yours. I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is... Pirzovko. How would you do his CHK? Zig... Pirodsko? Maybe? But you have a pet. Why do you have a pet? Is he fangs or something? I haven't seen fangs in like that. Open your mouth again. Nope, not gonna open your mouth. Fine. So if he's hungry currently, I would assume he didn't eat the kitten recently. Makes sense. Figured you might just want to kill the mice. Because, like, infectious diseases and all that stuff. Yes. He doesn't like snakes, does he? I don't actually believe that. There are still unexplained elements. There are still unexplained elements, so if we're going to leave it at that, I'm going to question the legitimacy of that conclusion. At the very least, it seems to have suggested that I am innocent, which is a promising start for all this. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the kitten is a kitten, and Ryunosuke is a human, so which would you choose? The kitten, I know. Okay. Sorry, Ryunosuke, we gotta save the kitten. Well, is she actually insinuating that she's still lying? Or is she just going out on the limb, like saying that story doesn't explain everything? Interesting thought. What at this point, outside of there just being unanswered questions, would insinuate that she might be lying? The cat missing is probably an element of it. Well, what's the lie? I know there's unanswered questions that she may not be able to reconcile, and there's more to this than meets the eye, but still. Oh, come on! So you're specifically here presumably after someone, right? Yeah? Why is that relevant? Hmm? Shall we begin what? I mean, that's not really that difficult to consider. Even if you remove the possibility, even if you assume that it closed, or even if you assumed it was closed at the time and didn't like lock itself later from the ship buckling, you could just say that he closed it in the previous one would be fairly consistent. So the two things that do not make sense is the message, because if he broke and died basically instantly from his neck, then yeah, the message doesn't make sense. How the bell got over into the room doesn't make sense, unless you explicitly are assuming that it was capable of staying on the little kitten's collar, despite being basically broken in the loop that kept it on the collar, and jumping all the way up to the ventilator and coming back and stuff like that. Something about that doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's actually going to be relevant, but it still doesn't make sense to me. And then the other thing is, what the fuck did he... Oh, okay. What the fuck did he actually break his neck on, if he broke his neck? There's nothing around. It's a big open area.
Hold it!
Unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Here, let me save. Just in case I'm on the wrong track. Okay, let's think about this in full detail. Probably not relevant, probably not relevant, probably not relevant. That would be the main thing that I'm thinking of. This seems all explains. The spine injury thing just does not make entirely sense with nothing there to fall on. 2 a.m. until early this morning. That's notable, but it's not enough of a contradiction to really point out. The only thing that makes sense to me is this.
Yes!
Oh. I don't actually believe Russian is a simple language. There's no such thing as a simple language. Well, with that said, yes, there is a possibility he could have written out a message, specifically meant to try to be able to be understood by the actual crewmen who might have shown up at some point. But more realistically, it was probably written by someone who knows Russian. Also, the idea that he fell, broke his neck, and was able to, 1, get the ink off his desk in order to write it, 2, write it before dying. The idea that he died from his neck snapping is such a thing that it feels like going to all that effort would make that impossible. And if he didn't die from his neck snapping, then we're missing something entirely here, right? It's one of those two, I think. It's gotta be. Sure seems like it's gotta be, at least. Did it say instant death? Oh, wait. Okay, it did say instant death. I did not remember that part. something. I don't actually have that much evidence. This is literally the only one that could conceptually make sense. The bell? The bell is the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yes!
It's almost like someone put it there purposely in order to try to create this story. And because they... You know what? That makes sense. If someone murdered him and they're trying to fake a locked room story, they would have been trying to blame the kitten, right? They would have been trying to blame that whole situation. Because they wouldn't have known about Ryunosuke. They would have been doing something else. They wouldn't have bet it on that. And that was probably just a happy accident that he showed up and made an easier thing to blame. And this is sort of the original plan. Oh my goodness, are they actually going to address the fact that the loopy thing is broken too? Right, no, so yeah, right. So the obvious explanation behind the bell would be the idea that the other half stayed on the collar and came back with the kitten, right? But it would be very hard to argue that when the loopy thing is broken, because it would be very hard to stay on, especially jumping up to the ventilator and making it all the way back. Yes! They're sort of kind of addressing it without actually talking about that.
Hold it! Yes!
But I was also in the wardrobe. I couldn't have done that. No, that isn't important. No. As he's sort of being an asshole, but that is an important distinction to make. It's not something he would have done. It's something he couldn't have done, which is a lot more persuasive an argument than, I don't think that person would have done that. I guess they might have found... They could have found Ryunosuke, I suppose. Yeah, that's a better question. Again, it seems like it was more likely to be left there. I suppose. Wait. How is that relevant? There are no windows in these rooms. Being light or dark doesn't mean anything when you're not getting light from the outside in the first place. It will be as light or dark as it would be regardless of the outside light. There are no windows in order to illuminate this place except for the lamp there. Wait, what? That's actually really bad logic. No, I actually don't suspect you. I suspect Stroganov over there.
Hold it!
I think she was complicit. Wait, you've only been part of the ballet company for 2 years? After all your complaining about it, you made it sound like you were there for like your entire life. I'm not saying that it wasn't torture, but to run away, steal shit and whatnot, after 2 years, it definitely downplays the severity of it, at least as relative to what they seem to imply it was before. I think that his death could have been an accident. But I also believe that if it was an accident, he, probably him, came in and set it up to try to make it not seem like it was blamable on the kitten, so it wouldn't come back to her, basically. No, we already talked about that before. That's not an option. It seals. But we already introduced how they could have closed at, like, the thing that got skipped because I accidentally... Because, you know, the commentary got corrupted. But it could have been bolted shut from the ship moving! Oh, that's an even better point! If they knew hard stops would close it. Like, that was the whole point of what didn't really make sense to me before, for the bolts door. If you knew that it could potentially close it, and that happened easily enough, you could just go up to the, like, the ship's steering and whatnot and be like, hey, stop it! Stop the ship, like, relatively abruptly, that we could cause this to happen. You could arrange that as a member of the crew. This does feel like I'm at the point of a trial. I get the feeling there's not going to be a trial during this one. I do get the feeling there's not going to be a trial in this one. It's... Huh. Okay.
Yes!
It didn't have an icon above it, so yeah. I wasn't sure if I could actually select it. You know what this all doesn't explain, though? So I could say that maybe it's an accident and people came in and tried to cover it up to protect her, basically, from being blamed. but there's that whole hint about everyone feeling bad. Like they got food poisoning or some shit. Like, many people had talked about that, and there was like a relatively big deal made about Ryunosuke's and Kazuma's like eating, like sharing food and whatnot, and how I think Ryunosuke didn't eat specific elements of that. I do feel as though that's going to be relevant. Ooh, inertia. There we go. I suppose if the other one broke, it would be hard for Hosonaga to confirm that the other one worked the same way in the other room. Someone entered the room. Try to set shit up in order to frame someone and distract attention from her. And... boop. Da-da-da-da-da-da. At least they're finally addressing this one. Yeah, that's a good point. That's probably a fairly good point of the stop having happened. The fact that the books were already toppled over, in here and over there. I feel like you'd have to explain why people didn't wake up and notice the emergency alarm then. Because it did sound like the emergency, alarm went out to everywhere before, right? Or was that an... Oh, it has a bell, even. Did he do it earlier in order to test the theory? I don't think he did it last night. I think he did it earlier today. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'll take that to heart, Mr. Sholmes. He's proud of himself. after what happened to Mr. Asagi. Or did it not? I feel like you can say with some semblance of confidence that it did, on the basis of things falling down and the other things that are in disrepair in the other room. But it's surprising that no one would notice. I feel like... Is this going to be the relevancy of everyone feeling sick? Everyone had food poisoning or something like that to make them, like, be in a really deep sleep? All the shit being thrown down. The books and shit. Oh, also the ship log. The ship log is probably what they want to have me present here, isn't it?
Yes!
So what happened, yeah? Ha! And we can confirm with some semblance of confidence that the 1 a.m. She said that the stuff with the kitten and whatnot happened around 1 a.m., right? Something big enough that more than just him seems. So, if it's really just him that's like in on this and doesn't want to tell people, that would be big, right? That would be significant. Because we could just go ask someone else, right? We could go ask a different crew member and they'd be like, yeah, we got an emergency stop. That was like awake during the time. Go ask the captain, some shit like that. But if everyone was in on whatever this, or like hiding what this emergency stop was, then that does make me wonder. That was pretty major. And even if someone did sleep through it, not everyone would have probably. The people feeling sick? Yeah, that's what I was thinking most likely. Oh, is that it? Ryunosuke here was the one who ate the poison stuff. And maybe Asagi was up and killed because he noticed the lurch, or he noticed, maybe not the lurch, but he knows some shit was going down, and he ended up getting killed as part of that. We could actually, because he only had part of it. Ah, there we go. This feels like the climactic part of like a trial. So this really doesn't feel like there's going to be a trial, considering we're getting down to the like answers of stuff so without a trial, basically. Is like the deduction stuff meant to be like a replacement for the trial, at least at times? Interesting. How big is the passenger group on this place? What would you... How much of that would you need? You know what? I'm starting... Sholm said that he was here for a different reason, and I'm guessing whatever we're uncovering right now is it. Oh, there it is. So is there something else going on that's unrelated to her? That's just on the ship somewhere else? Or maybe she's the renegade in some capacity? And it's all like a mini cover? Maybe? She'll really end up being the person, or some shit like that, I don't know. Okay, are we just talking about her and the ballet stuff, not like the terrorist anymore? Maybe I'm taking the renegade thing a little bit too far in my assumption of what that means. Was it last night, really? Are we saying it was last... Or they could have made a stop and help with people in order to try to do that, and just because they knew people were sleeping, they could do the emergency stop, even though it wasn't planned? Well, because people are inside. Most people would lock their door, like, during the night, right? That would just be the standard. Actually would be more likely than not, right? This is all also under the assumption that every room in the ship would close with that, or at least be at an angle where it wouldn't be disturbed by it or be unlocked via it. Then again, if you woke up and it was unbolted, you'd probably just be like, "Shit, I forgot to bolt it last night." So I suppose that doesn't matter too much. The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. Oh boy. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go to the end of this, especially since I didn't actually do one last time. I'm actually feeling pretty good with my cough at the moment. Talking through stuff a lot. Like, I still can't talk a ton, but just, like, controlling it, like, once I get into a rhythm, it gets much easier to not hurt my cough, not make it worse, basically. So I think I can go to the end of this. Oh, I get it. I know exactly what we'll use to prove that someone was there. Her earring. Let's go. Okay, it's the same thing as before. I think I'll present it, though. It does seem like the most likely thing to be capable of being used as evidence. The fact that it's exactly the same as it was before is interesting. Exactly the same. She hasn't noticed that it's broken.
Yes!
Or maybe not, considering this is the I fucked up one, isn't it? Oh, come on. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to suggest, like, we can go over there and look for it. Or something like that. Well, that's the thing. Can I also check the accidents or deliberate? Okay. So if we're only able to observe in here, it has to be that version, right? Examples of both? I think we'll find an example of both. I do think it's Tip, most likely. Oh, there we go. So if that's the... Can't do anything outside their body? Something they accidentally brought back, that makes sense. So the ink stain is fairly decent evidence, but...
Yes!
Okay, there we go. The earring still feels relevant! Is that just a red herring? The only thing involving the ink was this. So,
yes!
Go. That's a good point. I didn't think about, like, because it broke, it had to have been in that moment. But the ink being broken, or, well, considering the fact that we seem to have deduced that the ink had to have been post the fact that him dying conceptually, means that it doesn't necessarily mean he killed him. It could mean he came in and then set it up, though. That is utterly believable, but... That's not as the same time as the death. It does sort of... it makes sense, but it feels like there's more to it. Especially with that earring thing unexplained still. Things are weirdly nicely wrapped up at the moment, though. Still, what did he... Okay, you know what? We still don't know, like, what he fucking died on. Just the ground, are we saying? Because if you had whiplash falling into the ground, it would be your head, not your neck. In order for you to die on your neck, it would imply that something had to have been sticking up to specifically strike your neck before the rest of your body hit the floor. Right? If you had fallen. Is this going to be that she's really like a pure killer and he's like been tricked into thinking that she's he did it in order to protect her even though she like actually did murder him or something? The lack of a cat anywhere. Then again, I guess the cat would have had still had, yeah, and then where's the cat? That's another question. Oh my goodness. They're not major questions, but they're enough to make me question if there's another layer to this. Also remember, the whole fucking crew is in on, like, the general conspiracy to help her and whatnot, right? So can we still trust the freaking post-mortem report and all that sort of fun stuff? No, it feels like there's another layer to this. It feels like there's another layer to this. The only things I can think of are the lack of a kitten and how he broke his fucking neck. That feel like unexplained threads. The placement of the body? There's nothing around him. I'm saving again. I'm saving it. Okay. Let's think this through, one step at a time. His hand being closed feels unnatural. Because if you were falling to the ground, you would open your hand and try to brace yourself, right? Keeping it in a fist would be incredibly unnatural.
Yes!
Did we open the hand? I'm gonna guess the earring. The earring. Oh my goodness. Oh, you bitch. Is she gonna like go into her true face mode now or something? We've talked about it. I even tried to use it as proof before. Observation, Mr. Naruto. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. What significance does it have? It observes it proves there is some semblance of a struggle between him and her.
Yes!
Mm-hmm. Witness might even... I mean, I suppose we can't say anything more at this point, but still. He looks disappointed. Like he's questioning everything. Well, something like that seems more like a sign of a struggle than it is a sign of anything else. I feel like you would need a lot more info to assume anything else but a sign of a struggle. Ooh. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. So this was all... And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible, long day... Da-da-da-da-da-da. And especially considering that he wrote it in his journal, I'm guessing she ran over there, the kitten ran over there without Asuki noticing, hid there for a while, and after that didn't work, she went over, and it resulted in, you know, all that fun stuff. Inspector. Oh, he was expecting the inspector. Okay. Oh. As much as I expected him to not really be dead, they're not really building up to that not being the case. She panicked. They really just killed him? They really just killed him. No, I'm not emotionally ready to take one of the more interesting characters in the entire series and just assume he's dead after the first. Oh my goodness, they've done that before. That's actually pretty common in this series, where the second case involves one of the more interesting characters just being dead. Is he going to show up as a ghost, or some spirit medium's going to show up to... Oh boy. Okay, so he was completely aware, too, that he killed him. Or she killed him. Okay. Well, everything is like wrapped up in a nice tragic bow, but damn it. Everything does wrap up relatively nicely. So it did seem to imply in that flashback that his death, breaking his neck, was like on the edge of the bed, and then presumably he fell down onto the ground after that. Even though his location was very much still sort of an unnatural one relative to that story. And then the cat's just not anywhere, too. I assume they just didn't want to make a cat model. Is the captain not in on the conspiracy? I thought they said everyone was in on the conspiracy. Oh my goodness. So it's Inspector Hosanaga's fault. No. Oh. I mean, no, he wasn't. He was going to go talk to Ryunosuke, wake him up and be like, hey, what do you think? But it was, like, in the direction of the bell cord, so it was like, she assumed. Yeah, no, he was going to go talk to Ryunosuke. Like, very clearly. He was about to wake up Ryunosuke, which means that his death was Ryunosuke's fault in the end. Do you really need to spell this out? Oh.
Take that!
Oh. It's even more tragic when there isn't even any malice involved by anyone. Ah. I will say this music is so actually perfect for the feeling the scene wants to invoke right now. The music in this has been great. This one in particular does feel like it hits the perfect note, though. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. How are we gonna go? Like, is Ryunosuke just gonna, like... Is it just gonna be he shows up and he claims that he's Kazuma or something like that? It's like, we gotta have someone do this. This is basically diplomatic still. Well, Russia's not a great place to be, so good for her. Especially nowadays. Especially nowadays. Like, what do I even say at this point? It's wrapping up and whatnot, but still. That also makes sense. Unless you want me to, you know, pretend I'm Kazuma. And it's not really like I want to go to Britain anyway currently without, like... Because the point of me going along was to go with him, right? What's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh, is it her? Yeah. I didn't know you'd return. Yeah. Ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that? Do you have a reason still to go? It seems like you should probably try to head back too. Oh, it's okay. Ah, damn. And then one day you wake up from the dreams and they feel like an eternity ago. So is it going to be me trying to fulfill his dreams or something like that? Proposing that idea? Well, accident. It was on purpose, just not with malicious intent. Well, I have an idea at least. Wait. Wait. Neither of you did it? Oh, of course it's him. Are you going to take me to Great Britain saying that you need to, like, do some shit with me or something? Ah, that's so nice of you. Ha 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 ha. He did help a lot. He definitely seems competent, but it's really hard to tell if he's, especially since, oh, it's really hard to tell when he's actually being incompetent. He is really well written for what they seem to want to go with for him. Was no, there's no way the terms were so generic as to were they? Could they have been? Ha ha ha. So you're saying that the difference between someone with no with no official training in Japan and actual official training in Japan is actually very little. Oh, is it, or are you gonna just like spend the time drilling lawyer stuff into Ryunosuke's head? And we have all of Kazuma's books too, so... This is about what I figured. In terms of how it would play out once they really started signaling that he would stay dead. Oh. Oh, thanks, Sholmes. You think very highly of him, it seems. Honestly, the whole, like, dealing with the passing of a close friend, it's like, yeah, but I didn't really buy it until near the end. So wait, what exactly did he say he'd do? Think of a clever way to word my reports. You still gotta let them know that Kazuma's dead, right? His family's going to care. You can't just, like, string them along for years. Okay, well. You seem to know a bit, at least. Thank you. Oh. He gets the sword. Is that the, headband too wrapped around it? And return it to his family, right? If it's a family sword? At least eventually. Oh, good thing I still have the cuffs on. Yes, that is exactly what I need. As painful as it's going to be. Study, 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 study. Oh, because you did it you did it 3 times you see as unjustified. That's it's a nice thought, but I'm not really one for eye, sort of actual, like, consequences and sort of stuff. It's a nice sentiment, and I appreciate that more than the actual rest of it. Five times! So that's why you get 3, because 2 of the times were actually justified. I didn't actually count. Yeah, I think it would be a bad idea to do it. And it would be very dangerous to do if he tried it without trying it in a safe environment first. Is he getting close to actually punching her when he... Oh, he is. Yes, do it to him. Yes. Wait, uh-oh. Uh-oh, no, don't demonstrate on... Don't tell me no! I don't deserve it! No! As you can see, you throw it from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed, and that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no, that was a Susato squash. Oh my goodness. That does feel like an appropriate place to end that on. This does... Man. I get why, because there's a lot of things to cover. But this really is a long epilogue to it. A man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from a katana. So implying that he'll... Oh my goodness, if he like talks to if he talks to Ryunosuke through the katana at some point, I get a feeling it's gonna be more practical than that, because this has been a lot more grounded than, say, the original trilogy of Ace Attorney games was. So do we know exactly what his dream and goal was? If there's something more specific than to change the legal system in Japan? You still don't know what it was? Maybe we'll figure it out as we go along then. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that was good. As much as I had delays due to stuff, that was fun. Like I said, I'm probably just going to come back to this and try to somewhat focus on doing it every once in a while, but I'm probably going to take notable breaks in between each adventure, as they've been calling them, so I'm going to leave it there for today. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. It's been good. Cough is slightly improving over time, I think, especially considering the fact that I can get into talking for not constantly over 2 hours, but semi-regularly over 2 hours with minimal coughs as I get more into it. I do think it's been an improvement since the last time I since the last time I recorded and actually managed to make an upload. So, sorry again about part of it basically missing because my commentary got... etc., all that sort of fun stuff. But, yeah, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time. Drive safely, everyone.